Good morning everyone, myself Indranil Mondal, Assistant Professor in Mechanical Engineering Department. Today I am going to present an important lecture on gearboxes in automobiles related to automobile engineering. Let's start the session.
The word transmission means the whole of the mechanism that transmits the power from the engine crankshaft to the rear wheels. However, the transmission is also being used very commonly in the literature for a mechanism which provides us with suitable variation of the engine torque at the road wheels whenever required. This may be a gearbox, also called manual transmission, or an automatic transmission. It is in the sense that the word transmission is used for various functions. At low speeds, the torque produced by an internal combustion engine is very low, which increases with increase of speed, peaks at some optimum speed and starts decreasing beyond that. This would mean that if the engine is directly connected to road wheels, it may not have enough tractive effort to start the vehicle from rest. The practical considerations for the running of automobile under different conditions demand a large variation of torque at the road wheels, which would mean that it would not be possible to always run the engine at the optimum speed. Besides, the bigger engine would be required to cater to the torque requirement under most difficult conditions. Thus, the main purpose of the transmission is to provide a means to vary the leverage or torque ratio between the engine and the road wheels as required. This has been made clear that the transmission also provides a neutral position so that the engine and the road wheels are disconnected even with the clutch in the engaged position. A means to back the car by reversing the direction of rotation of the drive is also provided by the transmission. The question as to how far is the transmission necessary in a vehicle may be answered by considering variation of resistance to the vehicle motion at various speeds, variation of tractive effort of the vehicle available at various speeds. The transmissions may be classified into manual and the automatic types. The manual transmissions are conventionally called gearboxes. Their mechanical efficiency in direct drive is about 98%, whereas in reduction gears it is slightly greater than 90%. As most of the time the driving is done in direct drive, friction losses in manual transmissions are very small. That, coupled with simplicity and lower initial cost, is the reason these are still popular, particularly in fuel efficient automobiles. On the other hand, the operation of engaging and disengaging the clutch along with changing of gears while driving over a crowded highway means a lot of fatigue to the driver. Therefore, in luxury vehicles, automatic transmissions are employed, which simplify the driving operation considerably. The latest types are the continuously variable transmissions and the automated manual transmissions, which have been described in later conversation. As the output shaft of a gearbox rotates at slower rate than the input shaft, and this reduction in speed will produce a mechanical advantage, causing an increase in torque. Usually found near motors of some sort, gearboxes are used to reduce the load on the motor. This reduces wear on the engine, allows more control and allows greater speeds. In other words, when the motor is turning 2500 rpm, the output shaft is turning 500. The gearbox is reducing the number of revolutions from input to output. Torque converters, hydraulics, electrical power and hybrid configurations may also be used for the same purpose. What are the basic types of gearboxes? Sliding mesh gearbox, constant mesh gearbox, synchronous gearbox and epicyclic gearbox. An engine may consist of one or more gearbox. There may be gearboxes which are a mixture of these types. Sliding mesh gearbox is the oldest type of manual transmissions used in automobiles. However, in this type, the mechanical efficiency was very low and the noise level was quite high in manual transmission. Moreover, the driver required considerable skill in changing the gears. An improvement was achieved in the form of a constant mesh gearbox, which resulted in higher mechanical efficiencies and lower noise level due to the use of helical gears instead of straight spar gears in case of sliding mesh type. Still, the driver had to adopt double declutching to change gears. A further improvement with the help of synchronous device solved this problem also, and these days a synchronous type of gearbox is a universally used type of automotive manual transmission. This is a schematic diagram of sliding mesh gearbox. This is main drive gear. This one is counter shaft. This one is main shaft. First gear, second gear, third gear, and top speed engaging dogs. In this type of gearbox, gears are engaged and disengaged by sliding of the gear wheels. Gear wheels on the main shaft engage with gear wheels on the lay shaft or counter shaft by sliding themselves. The power comes from the engine to the clutch shaft and hence to the clutch gear, which is always in mesh with a gear on the lay shaft. All the gears on the lay shaft are fixed to it, and as such they are all the time rotating when the engine is running and the clutch is engaged. 3 direct and 1 reverse speeds are attained on suitably moving the gear on the main shaft by means of selector mechanism. This is another schematic diagram of sliding mesh type gearbox. Constant mesh gearbox. This is the schematic diagram of constant mesh gearbox. First speed gear, second speed gear, main shaft, third speed gear, top and third speed engaging dogs, top gear, primary shaft or main drive gear, and counter shaft or cluster gear. In this case, gear wheels on the main shaft and lay shafts are constantly engaged and the rotary motion is transmitted to the main shaft by engaging dog clutches. In this type of gearbox, all the gears are in constant mesh with the corresponding gears on the lay shaft. The gears on the main shaft, which is spline-lined, are free. The dog clutches are provided, which are free to slide on the main shaft. The gears on the lay shaft are, however, fixed. When the left dog clutch is slide to the left by means of the selector mechanism, its teeth are engaged with those on the clutch gear and we get the direct gear. The same dog clutch, however, when slide to right makes contact with the second gear and second gear is obtained. Similarly, movement of the rigid dog clutch to the left results in low gear and towards right in reverse gear. This is another schematic diagram of constant mesh gearbox. You see, this is the lay shaft, this one is clutch, output shaft, first gear, this one is second gear, this one is third gear, this one is selector fork, this is dog gear, this one is fourth gear, and this one is fifth gear. This is another schematic diagram of constant mesh gearbox. You see, this one is primary drive, this one is clutch, this one is engagement dog, input shaft, output shaft, and shift forks. Advantages of constant mesh gearbox over sliding mesh gearbox. Helical and herringbone gear can be employed in these gearboxes and therefore constant mesh gearboxes are quicker. Since the gears are engaged by dog clutches, if any damage occurs while engaging the gears, the dog unit members get damaged and not the gear wheels. By suitably designing the dog clutch, the gear changing can be made easier. Damage to the dog clutch is less likely because all the teeth are engaged at a time. synchronous gearbox. This type of gearbox is similar to the constant mesh type in that all the gears on the main shaft are in constant mesh with the corresponding gears on the lay shaft. The gear on the lay shaft are fixed to it, while those on the main shaft are free to rotate on the same. Its working is also similar to the constant mesh type, but in the former there is one definite improvement over the latter. This is the provision of synchronous device which avoids the necessity of double declatching. The parts which ultimately are to be engaged are first brought into frictional contact which equalizes their speed, after which these may be engaged smoothly. But I have told that if the car is moving, the output shaft is always turning. That is because of ultimately it is connected to the wheels. The lay shaft is usually connected to the engine, but it is free spinning once the clutch has been operated. Because the gears are meshed all the time, the synchro brings the lay shaft to the right speed for the dog gear to mesh. This means that the lay shaft is now spinning at a different speed to the engine. The clutch generally equalizes the speed of the engine and the lay shaft, either bringing the engine to the same speed as the lay shaft or vice versa depending on engine torque and vehicle speed. This is another schematic diagram of synchronous gearbox. The green cone shaped area is the synchro collar. It's attached to the red dog gear and slides with it. As it approaches the helical gear, it makes friction contact with the conical hole. The more contact it makes, the more the speed of the output shaft and free spinning helical gears are equalized before the teeth engage. This is all about synchronous gearbox. Let's discuss epicyclic gearbox. The present day automatic transmissions consist of multiple clutches, torque converter and epicyclic gearbox. Automatic transmissions operate basically by controlling vehicle speed and engine load. Increasing vehicle speed needs changing gears upwards, whereas increasing engine load necessitates change from higher to lower gears. For the speed factor, a sensitive control unit, mechanical, hydraulic or electrical, is driven off a suitable point beyond transmission, and thus its control action becomes sensitive to vehicle speed. The engine load factor is introduced by the position of the accelerator pedal. Thus, the engine load sensitive control unit is operated by the depression of the accelerator pedal. In such gears, epicyclic gear trains are employed to get the various gear ratios. The characteristic feature of an epicyclic gearing is that at least one wheel not only rotates about its own axis but also rotates about some other axis. This is ring gear, this is planet carrier, this one is sun gear, this one is planet gears. An epicyclic gearbox consists of 2, 3 or even 4 epicyclic or planetary gear sets. A simple set has a sun gear about which planets turn around. These planet gears are carried by a carrier and a shaft and are also in mesh internally with a ring gear, which is also called internal gear or annulus. Different torque ratios, that is speed ratios, are obtained by making any one of the parts, that the sun gear, the planets and the annulus stationary. Similarly, by locking two parts with each other, a solid drive, that is direct gear, is obtained. Automatic gearboxes typically use one or more compound planetary gear sets instead of changing regular gear sets together. They look just like a regular planetary gear set from the outside, but inside there are two sun gears and two sets of intermeshing planet gears. There is still only one ring gear though. So this is all about epicyclic gearbox. This is another schematic diagram of epicyclic gearbox. This one is planet carrier locked in place. Input from torque converter. Outlet planet gears turn ring gear. This one is large sun gear free wheels. This one is inner planet gears mess with and turn outer planet gears. Overdrive. The highest gears may be overdrive types that increase the output speed. This is a device to step up the gear ratio in the car. It is fitted in between transmission and the propeller shaft. Overdrives have become very popular in the USA. It enables a high cruising speed to be attained with a comparatively low engine speed up to about 20 to 25% less on long journeys. This results in less wear of the engine parts and decreased vibration and noise. As the friction losses at lower speeds are less, there is a saving of fuel also with the overdrive. Overdrive is generally fitted on top gear only, but in some sports cars, overdrives are also fitted on gears other than the top gear, which increases the torque ratios available. For example, when overdrive is fitted on top, third and second gear 7 forward speeds or torque ratios are available. The overdrive may be operated either manually or automatically at a predetermined speed. It consists of an epicyclic gear input shaft, while the carrier can move up on spilines on the input shaft. A freewheel clutch is also fitted on the input shaft spilines. The output shaft is connected to the ring. When the sun gear is locked with the casing, that is, it becomes stationary, the speed of the output shaft is increased, that is, overdrive is engaged. When, however, the sun gear is locked to the carrier or to the ring, solid drive through the gear train is obtained. Thus, depending on the locking of the sun gear with casing or with carrier, the overdrive or the normal direct drive is obtained. There is another possible control of the mechanism, that is when the sun wheel is kept free to rotate on the input shaft. In this case, there is direct drive through the free wheel clutch when the engine develops power. However, when the accelerator pedal is brought to zero position and the engine is simply idling, the output shaft will tend to override the input shaft. The rollers of the freewheel clutch in this case no longer remain wedged and the car freewheels. Thus, for gear changing, one simply has to lift his foot off the accelerator pedal. The clutch need not to be operated. The overdrive consists of an electrically or hydraulically operated epicyclic gear train bolted behind the transmission unit. It can either transfer the input drive shaft directly to the output shaft called a prop shaft, or increase the prop shaft speed so that it turns faster than the input shaft. Thus, in overdrive, the gear ratio is less than unity, that is, propeller shaft rotates at a speed higher than that the engine speed. Thus, the prop shaft may be overdriven relative to the input shaft. It is actually actuated by a knob or button, often incorporated in the gear shift knob, and does not require operation of the clutch. This one is 3 Synchro overdrive gearbox of an MGB Roadster 19068 model. Types of transmissions. Common types include manual transmission, semi-automatic transmission and automatic transmission. Uncommon types include dual clutch transmission, continuously variable transmission, infinitely variable transmission, electric variable transmission, hydrostatic, hydrodynamic and electric. Manual transmission, I have already told earlier. A simple but rugged sliding mesh or unsynchronized or non-synchronous system found in racing cars, older heavy-duty trucks and some agricultural equipment. Here, straight-cut spar gear sets are spinning freely and must be synchronized by the operator matching engine reverse to road speed to avoid noisy and damaging gear clash. When the driver engages the clutch, the sliding gear disengages from its existing position and can slide up and down the gearbox to re-engage in a higher or lower gear. This is the schematic diagram of manual transmission from engine to the differential by gear selected for. This one is less apt. Sequential gearbox. Manual transmissions use the standard H pattern in the shifter. The manual transmission in a motorcycle is nothing like this. On a motorcycle, you shift gears by clicking a lever up or down with your toe. It is a much faster way to shift. This type of transmission is called a sequential gearbox or a sequential manual transmission. It turns out that most race cars are sequential gearboxes as well. There are 3 forks, 1, 2 and 3, controlled by these 3 rods that are engaged by the shift lever. There is still a set of gear selector forks that move collars that engage gears. The only difference is the way the control rods are manipulated. The H pattern is eliminated and replaced with a different motion. In a race car, the motion of the shift lever is either push forward or to upshift or pull backward to downshift. Semi-automatic transmission. This is the schematic diagram of semi-automatic transmission system. This one is motor or engine. This one is second gear. This one is third gear. This one is first and this one is fourth gear. This one is differential. Automatic transmission. Epicyclic gearing or planetary gearing are as used in an automatic transmission. An automatic transmission will select an appropriate gear ratio without any operator intervention. They primarily use hydraulics to select gears depending on pressure exerted by fluid within the transmission assembly. This is the schematic diagram of automatic transmission. This one is torque converter. This one is output shaft. This one is brake band, planetary gear set, modulator, valve body, gear selector and case. Cutaway view of a typical 3-speed automatic transmission system. What are the advantages of automatic transmission? Let's discuss. If the car is in overdrive on a 4-speed transmission, the transmission will automatically select the gear based on vehicle speed and the throttle pedal position. If you accelerate gently, shifts will occur at lower speeds than if you accelerate at full throttle. And if you float the gas pedal, the transmission will downshift to the next lower gear. Advantages of automatic transmission over manual transmission. Better fuel efficiency up to 15% increase. No loss of torque transmission from the engine to the driving wheels during gear shifts. Very smooth gear shift operations. Appeals to drivers due to overall fast shifts and rapid responses along with the latest technology. What are the main disadvantages of automatic transmission over manual transmission? Its mechanical efficiency is very less than that of a manual transmission type. It requires a specialized transmission fluid or lubricants which is expensive and need to be changed regularly. It's expensive to manufacture. It is heavier than an conventional manual transmission gearbox and it has much higher rate of failure due to complexity. These are the main disadvantages of automatic transmission over manual transmission. From this video lecture, you will get knowledge about manual transmission, automatic transmission and semi-automatic transmission. You also acquire knowledge about sliding mesh type gearbox, synchro mesh gearbox, constant mesh gearbox, epicyclic gearbox and overdrives. If you want to get more videos, please like, share and subscribe my channel and stay connected with me. Thank you.